Have you got a story in the wedding industry?
Can it be cut if I change my mind after?
A bit of an interesting story.
And is it embarrassing for you or embarrassing for someone else?
Shocking.
Brilliant,
Awful.
let's hear it. This is the best.
Is it as bad as Adam pooing himself?
I would actually say it's worse.
Right, go for
But
it.
it's not like it's not, right, okay.
The floor is yours, Frankie.
Fine. So,
Hey, be sure you stick around because we're only getting warmed up.
welcome. Should we just cut that out as well? Welcome.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Think Wedding Business. Today's exciting, mainly because I can't wait to hear from Frankie's embarrassing story. That's going to be coming up at the end of the podcast. But for now, yes, we're going to introduce our wonderful guest, Frankie Noone. Hair and makeup, or just makeup?
Just makeup.
Can we still call you by your stage name?
Master of one.
Just
Don't ask me to do anyone's hair. Yeah, I'm still a Noone. Oh no, I am a Slimane now, my married name, but by work name, I am still a Noone. Yeah.
Still a Noone.
And it's not no one. Some people think it's no one.
No, we're not going to say
E.
Frankie No One. It's
not
Frankie
no
Noone. Yeah.
Just
So we're going to be
FYI.
talking about how to run a successful business, being a mother and a wife, talking all about the social media side of things, how she got started, where she is now, where she wants to be, and a few little add-ons along the way. One thing that really impressed me, which we will talk on, is the products that she sells as well. So that's coming up on today's episode. Can't wait.
Welcome, Frankie.
Welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here, guys.
He does this all the time. He starts going like, this is what we're talking about.
Natters.
And then after a little while, he breathes and I go, hi. Finally.
It's 3 coffees I've had this morning, Adam. That's what it
Should we change it to the Howard Wing show, maybe? Or...
It's not the Howard Wing show. It's never the Howard Wing show.
I'm joking.
The Wing Show.
That would actually be a great name. The Wing Show.
Winging it.
Winging it
Is that
might
my
be great.
water?
I could use that as well. Eyeliner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's
could all go
trademarked.
into
It's
business
trademarked,
together.
Unfortunately,
We'll discuss later.
You need to learn.
I do.
So, Frankie, Bridal by Frankie.
Bridal by Frankie is my
Frankie
bridal one.
Brush, also multiple businesses, but all
Yes.
centered around makeup, and
Yes.
obviously very much involved in the wedding industry.
Very much so.
How long have you?
12
been doing
years.
it? 12 years.
Yeah.
How did that get started?
So I used to work for Mac. Do you know Mac, you guys?
I do,
Yeah,
yeah.
the company, makeup
Lee
brand.
Mack, the comedian. Oh, the makeup company.
Teddy Pillow,
Yeah.
Blush Teddy Pink, or whatever
Mac
it's
Daddy.
called.
Mac
What's
Daddy.
it?
Velvet Teddy.
Velvet Teddy.
I used to work for Mac, so I came straight out of a psychology degree
Yeah.
in Leeds, and then I was like, I'm going to be a makeup artist. Came home, and my mum and dad were like, what do you mean you're going to be a makeup artist? Like, we are not sending you for any more expensive education. You will, if you want to be a makeup artist, fine, just you have to go and get a job. So I reckon I'm quite stubborn, so that is literally exactly what I did. And I got a job with Mac as a Christmas temp, and I originally wanted to go into like events management for Mac, but then after about a year I was obsessed with makeup, so I started freelancing around Manchester whilst I was at Mac, and then it kind of just spiraled from there. So I was at Mac for 3 years, then I opened a pop-up studio.
So you got to the point where you're freelancing because it was
Too much,
taking over
yeah,
your job,
yeah.
but I'd rather do that
Yeah.
because I'm my own boss, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I could have stayed at Mac, but I chose to leave because I was like, I absolutely love what I'm doing freelance. Absolutely loved what I was doing. And I think it got to the point where I didn't have a day off for about 2 months, and I was like, from Mac and freelancing, I was like, I'm only, 25, but I can't do this anymore.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give. Yeah. So that's when I opened a pop-up studio for 6 weeks, and I've now been in that building for 10 years.
That's the same building.
Same
'cause
building. It doesn't look the same, though.
You reopened it.
Oh, yeah.
Or you opened a new thing
Refurb,
recently.
ripped the whole
yeah.
thing down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks amazing.
Well, thank you. It does.
So the wedding,
I'll take that because it was stressful.
Is it one of those where, you do makeup, can you do my wedding? Like, where did the wedding come? The first one?
Yeah, I feel like when I first started in makeup, as in freelance, and I used to do all sorts. I'd do like shoots, e-com, fashion, but then a lot of occasion makeup. So it was like, I'd do like just young girls going out on nights out, and I'd just drive to the little house in my little, what did I have? Fiat 500, of course I did. A cream one at the time.
Yellow, red door.
Oh, terrible. Anyway, just drive around, and then I just loved the occasion makeup beauty side. So once you start doing loads of occasion makeup, people then like, I'm getting married. And then they all have bridesmaids, and then they're like, you do a good job. Next thing you know, you book for another one, But I would say that it spiraled from my clients, the people that I was doing makeup for. That's how the bridal thing came about.
Yeah, that's how it all starts. It was probably the same with me when I was going out singing, doing restaurants, and all of a sudden, my friend's getting married.
Exactly.
Would you come and do the wedding? I was like, I never thought about that.
Yeah, they kind of
why
go
not?
hand in hand, these things, don't
But
they?
I think now...
And then that takes over then, the wedding
the weddings
side.
take over and you build like a business around it, don't you? But I think the most important thing is to... now we've still got social media. I think Instagram was just getting popular when I started my business, which actually went hand in hand. But I think, like makeup-wise anyway, you guys might not know, but you kind of get put into
Females,
different
definitely.
brackets of like, are you party makeup, occasion makeup, or are you bridal? Because bridal's technically a lot softer than occasion makeup.
Yeah.
So I think what was important for me is I would have like, I can do really glam, strong makeup, but then on my Instagram I'd be like, but also do bridal, so it's quite visible when you look me up. She does occasion, but she can do bridal. Because otherwise people are like, well, she just does party makeup. I don't want to look like I've got too much on my wedding day.
So was there a point where you thought, right, I'm now going to start to push weddings? And were you still doing the other freelance and all the different party stuff alongside, and then you made a switch completely to weddings?
I would say that there came a point where I like things to be compartmentalised. I like things to be in the right place.
Boxes, yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
Agreed. I feel like you have to be in this industry, like things have to be in the right place. So I remember the day I made it, I made a different Instagram from my normal Instagram because it was just not working. I was like, sometimes I'm teaching people how to do a ginormous black eyeliner, and then the next thing I know, I'm doing a really soft bridal glam. So I made my bridal Instagram called Bridal by Frankie, and I think that's probably about 8 years old now. So that was when I was like, right, I really love the bridal side of it. I've got the studio, but it wasn't ever like, I want to earn this much from bridal ever. None of my work is like that. I'm always like, I'm obsessed with it. And then the kind of like, I hate the word success, but it comes with it, doesn't it? Like you end up being busy because you obviously like you're just pouring out the love for it.
You've got to really enjoy it. The money's the byproduct of it, and
I agree.
You've got to enjoy it. You can't just go into it for money. There's got
And
to
if
be
you
the
do,
love
then
there, isn't
you're
it?
in for the wrong reasons because
Yeah.
the bridal industry can be stressful. So you literally can't go in it for money because you're just like, sometimes, you're there longer or you're up earlier or you're giving way more than you thought you were going to.
Yeah, there's no such thing as like an hourly rate with it. And
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
And like social media is great for that, because I was going to say you can then show people that all the different things that you offer,
Yeah.
but what you've done is gone, that just looks too messy.
Yeah.
I'll separate it.
yeah. But I also love because my bridal one, I feel like my normal, what I call my Frankie Noone Instagram, my normal one, which is where I post loads of tutorials and it's like, who I am as a person.
Yeah.
That goes really hand in hand because obviously like personal branding, like we were saying before, I'm always like, I never want someone to feel awkward or like they feel a little bit scared to come into the studio. Whereas when they feel like they know me before, I'm like, I'm nice.
Well,
Come in.
that's the personal branding
Yeah.
element of, isn't it? Which is so important.
When I spoke to Howard about you and we were talking about having you on, you're really good on Instagram and social media, which I said to you. But like, I have so many brides that will ring me up and say, "Did you do Frankie Noone's wedding?" Which I did, and I go, "Yeah." Oh
I
my God,
honestly, I don't
love
know
her.
how to-
She's amazing. But do you have like seem to have like a real fan base online? And I feel like, to your point, they see your face all the time. You are really
Yeah.
active on there.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
there
not
is a
just
fine
your...
line though, because I don't want to annoy anyone, but I also, you'll probably find out about me, I literally love women. Like, I love women, and I feel like that in turn comes out, and then they love me back. So I'm like,
Yeah, no, you
don't
come
know if
across
it's like-
well.
yeah, I
but
hope
you
so, I
built
hope
like
so.
a real fan base. It's working.
yeah,
whatever
well,
you're doing,
we
because
call,
people
we call
go,
it a community, not a fan base, actually.
Call it a community. Yeah.
"Yeah, we've got one of those."
We
haven't
do.
Yeah.
We call it a
All
community because
six
it
of
is though. These people go through like on that Instagram that we have. Like they have gone through every big moment of my life so
Yeah.
far.
It-
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you know,
and they
it's-
get invested.
And I have obviously in turn been through so many with them because I'm like, they then booked me for the wedding. I'm like, I'm actually here for your biggest moment now.
It's so sincere as well. I had a couple come around this week who actually got the booking from. It was great. They came to the house, and they'd never seen me at a wedding before.
Right.
Which I always like when people say. Most
Yeah.
of my work is people have seen me
Word of
before.
mouth, yeah.
But they'd not seen me. But we were chatting together. It was almost like they knew me, and they said,
Yes.
I've not seen you, but I follow you on Instagram and I look at all your stuff, and it's so amazing.
feel like they
And
already
we
know
feel
you,
like
and
we know
that's
you, you know,
nice.
and you're perfect for our wedding with what the stuff that
Yeah.
I see. And even if you don't meet people face to face, having that presence on social media where people
Yeah.
feel that you get this connection with someone.
Especially in the bridal industry, like the people who book you want to know more about you, don't
Yeah,
they?
of course
And
they
you
do, yeah.
end in turn, end up knowing about them, so it becomes a really balanced relationship between them. But
Yeah, and we've banged on about it on lots of the podcasts and in our courses, but it's so important to show yourself and show the person behind the brand.
I agree.
And like your Bridal by Frankie Instagram is a lot more about the product, and there's a lot of images of brides
the actual
and
brides,
brides and bridesmaids.
Yeah,
and
well,
stuff.
it's like that.
And
I
it's
think
not
of
so
as
much
more like a
of you, is
portfolio.
there?
Yeah, we have them pinned at the top, as in like I'm Frankie, I'm Steffi, I'm Ellie. This is the team. But we all have our separate Instagrams as well, where we direct people to like that's if you. Looking for a mother who on a Monday morning is exhausted because a child has drove her insane, you'll find that as well. And people, it's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Jade sits and watches your stuff at home and goes on the personal side and the relatability because you're a mum, because we've got kids the same age.
Yeah.
Jade's like, I've seen Frankie's taking Harry here, or like, oh look, have you seen Frankie's story? Harry's being dead funny.
That.
And like doing something that's similar to the, and we're going, Evie's just like that,
haven't you?
So relatable, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Instagram for your bridal stuff,
yeah.
But then they can also see you being more personal on your own.
Yeah.
And then the two go hand in hand.
They combine, yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, I've just got my one, and it's my films, and I try and show a bit of personality on there.
Yeah.
But having the two separate, I suppose, gives people a choice. Was it a conscious decision?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. As in, I was like, I'm obviously still going to have my normal Instagram, which is like a personal one, but I see it as like a work and a personal one. But then my bridal one I see as more of like this is a portfolio of what we can physically do, and then you'll get a bit of personality thrown in there as well. But yeah,
so you get people going across both, because I've
community. Sorry,
I've got a friend who is a professional, and he's got his Instagram page for that. And he's got another page which is called The Real Da-da-da.
Exactly.
But he leaves that private. You can't go on it.
Oh, it's like you want to get on it more though, don't you think? Because it's private.
So you're doing no, I want that open. I want people to go and see the real me, and even though, you know what I mean, not the real you in a sense, but they'll get more of the personal stuff on your personal page, won't they?
Have you had to find that you've had to then censor your life
content
and what you show?
No, I think that's actually why people enjoy it more, because I'm like
100% you, authentic.
As in like people are like, oh, are you any different off Instagram than you are in now? And I'm like, literally,
which
I'm
I can
not
attest
even
to.
at
You're
all.
not.
What's the point? I feel like I can see through people like that. You know, like when you're like someone's selling something on Instagram, I'm like, this is so much crap.
I think it's great.
I can see it through the screen. I'm like, why don't people just not lie?
And you can't, because of social media, because it's almost
You'll get
a
found
window
out.
now. You will get
found out.
So look, I remember when I started, Howard said to me, because it was Facebook at the time, and that was the more personal.
Yeah, it was.
But I think you said like, just get rid of all your nights out with your mates and your selfies and your naked pictures in Ibiza. Because you've got
everybody's
to
looking.
That you want people on your personal, because it's the personal branding, but you don't want them to see all of you.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to send, but I feel like because there's so much more content now, and because you've
people
got to
love
give them
something a bit, that's not
it's
just
almost like,
clearly censored.
Yeah, it's shifted, because it's like, he had that life in the past, and you can go and find that, and it's like, okay,
I still have some highlights on my, Tony Darcy, photographer, wedding photographer. She howls at this still. It was probably about 8 years ago. I went on a hen do to Barcelona, my best friend's hen do, and I just forget about the makeup on that weekend, and it'd still go all over Instagram. I mean, I'm not the same because I don't go out anymore. Like, I feel like once you have a kid, you don't go out.
If someone went scrolling,
you could find it. I can link you in if you like. Yeah, it's on the highlights on the top, because Tony Darcy was like, "Don't you ever remove that." First of all, we went to Barcelona and it flooded, the whole city flooded.
Wow.
And it just showed us all, like, we meant to be like this glam group of girls, that all like pink girls and everything, and we were drowned, rats, I swear to God.
And all your makeup's all wet.
And we were wasted as well. It was 8 years ago, we were absolutely trolleyed. And there's another one, if my husband Kaz, like, I will happily, like, take the mick out of him, basically, online, and he's like, for God's sake, will you leave me alone? There's one where he bought, like, he was going skiing, and he bought this scarf that was like an actual skull. You must have seen it. It was a skull, and I was like, you can't have bought that seriously. Like, what in God's name is that? No, not Alexander McQueen one. It's like an actual skull's face.
Not Alexander McQueen one.
No, you know the skull one that everyone used to wear.
Alexander McQueen was from Primark.
Yes, it's an Aldi one.
And here's Adam's personal life.
Nothing wrong with Aldi, by the way. I shop there for most
Leave
of the
Kaz alone.
Anyway, well, he loves Kaz. We all love Kaz. He's the best. But he basically got absolutely slated. And people, like, I posted a little roundup of me yesterday on my normal Instagram, and someone was like, where is the skull scarf story? And I was like, it's on the highlights. People love to see something a bit wild.
You can talk about anything but what you do, and that's going to lead to bookings.
I think the most views I ever got, I think, was when my house got broken into.
Do you know, this is a segue, but as you know, I've got a bit of a bad back at the minute, and I put something on my Instagram stories about my back issues the other day.
You know nothing.
I've had about 50 messages and DMs. It's the most engaged thing I've done in...
There you go, because it's just a bit normal life
just
stuff.
Because
And
people are like,
and you're asking for help
I've
as
had
well.
a bad back. Do you want this? And people giving advice. People like,
love to give help.
And yeah.
Have you got 4 bulging discs?
No, I mean, you know, I'm sure it's first world problems for someone of your age, but for me, it's been pretty rough. So let's just move on. My next question, whilst we're on the social media,
It's hard to get through this
I know.
podcast.
was going to be,
I'm enjoying it.
was going to be how you think of the like ideas for content and what you post. And how you
I was
think
going to
about
say
it.
what are the key things you think you've done that made your social media really successful? Because you've got a lot of followers. For anybody who's watching who wants to get into your world, and they're setting up the other Instagrams or whatever, Facebooks, or our world, I suppose the wedding world, but what
The content world.
Yeah, what do you think works? What's worked for you?
Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Do not lie. You
What
get
sort of
sussed out in a
content
minute.
do you think?
Yeah, well, you've got the transparency down, haven't you?
Yeah. Second of all, I think only work for me, for example, with brands that I actually would use anyway.
Yeah.
Don't get paid to do stuff that you're not actually interested in. And I think keep consistent, probably.
Yeah. Anything on like specific types of
Types of
posts
content.
that have performed sort of better than others that has
I
helped
like
you
a
follow
mix
them?
of personal life and work life. So you will see some of my posts are, this is very clearly about makeup and how to apply it. And some, oh look, she just got married.
Yeah.
Her actual life, you know, like, because I am just, you know, I've just got married.
Yeah.
You can't hide that. How can you hide
but,
something
I mean,
so big?
It being in the wedding industry, showing your own wedding, like that's going to attract.
Do you know the
an
hardest
interest on your
time? The hardest
followers.
time I found to make content was when I was between 0 and 12 weeks pregnant, because I couldn't lie. I was like, I can't tell anyone. I can't tell anyone. I can't be normal because I'm just like, I've got this massive secret.
When you keep it a secret.
And I felt like I was going to have been run over because I
Feel a
felt
bit
so
rough,
ill. And I
but
was
you
like,
can't say why.
I can't say why. And everyone's like, where's Frankie gone? And like, Frankie's just dying in a hole somewhere because she just feels that ill.
Isn't it funny when people say this to me about you? I've not seen Howard online in months. Is he all right? Like, yeah, he's fine. Yeah,
He's
Just 'cause
fine.
he's not posting
I've
on
not
Instagram.
posted for 2
You need
weeks.
to keep consistent, Howard.
Yeah. People just think that they worry about you. If you've
They
not
do.
posted
They
all of
do.
a
If
sudden.
I don't post for a while, people will be like, where the hell are you?
Yeah.
Well, I find that if I'm posting a lot, I'm getting a load of inquiries coming through, and
Yes.
I always like to keep myself. I only do a certain amount of weddings a year.
Of course,
I
same.
don't want to be going out and doing tons and tons. So it's not like I need to be pushing it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm established 20 years in what I'm doing, and I'm quite lucky. I kind of get to pick and choose what I do, and
Of
I
course.
keep my numbers small.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not. But if I was starting out, I'd be social media every day.
Like
There'd be
a-
stories, reels, posts,
Yeah.
everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Everywhere I'm going, and I think that's what you need to do at the start. But
Agreed.
I'm in a bit of a different place at the minute.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it's
Bringing
good,
it to
yeah.
the wedding side, do you get a lot of your wedding work now through social media, or is it still all the word of mouth, the recommendations?
I would say word of mouth is still top dog.
Yeah.
But then obviously because the socials are so active, people go and be like, oh, actually, yeah, I've seen that she's
Yeah,
done.
they
I've seen
kinda
that she's
work
done.
hand in hand,
Yeah,
that,
so
don't they?
people will talk about you and then they'll be like, oh, just go have a look. Go have a look.
So your word of mouth is the starting point, but then
You've got to have your
That's
then
my
they'll go and look at
favourite.
your stuff.
Word of mouth is the best.
But
Like,
you've got to
Yeah.
then have the presence and the be
It's
active
gotta be
on
there.
there.
Yeah, it's got-
so that
the
they can see,
information's
and
got
it
to
needs
be there.
up to date, and it needs to be. Yeah.
And I know I'm pretty like, I probably seem like I'm quite happy-go-lucky or quite, relaxed, but they don't see all the work that goes in, and they don't see, I like to keep it really professional behind the scenes, as in like, you will never catch me drinking before a wedding, you will never catch me, I would like to think I'm quite fun, but I would not, the seriousness and the professional side is there. But then when you get to a wedding, it's like, I'm here now. It can be as fun as we like.
Yeah.
So all the professional stuff is done. So
Do you how much time on a general week or day do you put into it? Do you have to
Into
like really
socials.
be efficient, and do you have to plan it?
I would say I've become more like that very recently, because in my head I'm juggling Frankie Brush, which is my brush brand, which is a full-time retail business, my Makeup by Frankie brand, which is under that comes Bridal by Frankie, and then my content creating side, which I work with a lot of brands, as in like to create makeup videos. So it's juggling all the time. So I literally have to book it by hours in my calendar.
Family, kid.
Plus family and kids, which obviously comes first at the end of the day. So, you have to
'Cause I'm
be
guilty
quite
of
regimented.
I'm like, oh, sorry, Evie, I'm on Instagram
Yeah, I
at
know.
the minute.
I know.
Like,
Harry was
they
doing
don't
the
get
same
it,
to
they just
me.
want you.
She was like, I've just got one more email to send, please. And she's like, Mummy. And I'm like, so you've got to find a way to balance it. But yeah, a lot goes into the socials to the point where it definitely burns me out sometimes.
So it is all curated, planned, not
Not
too
all,
much.
no, as in like my bridal one a bit more so, and my Frankie Brush one very much more planned, but because my Frankie Noone one is real life, like I'm just like, oh, this has just
jump on
happened.
and just chat.
This has just happened. This has actually just happened. And that's what people like. Like, I love following people like that.
Yeah.
Like the time when she did a poo in the sea.
In the sea. And I knew you were thinking about that just then. I see it in your eyes. Had to catch it in my hand.
Like,
Catch it in your hand.
Had to catch it in my hand and throw
But it's
it
in the
bush.
sea though, and it's going to end up there anyway.
No, we were on the
and
shore.
your first thought was, I've got.
Oh, it's
outside
getting
the small
this is
restaurant.
it's getting
Instagram,
washed in.
I've remembered that.
It was in my hand.
And for some, like, I would, even if I didn't know you, I would think I would remember
She's the
that.
girl
and be
that
like,
fished
that's
her own
the-
child
that's the girl.
in
And when
the
I
most
think of
beautiful,
a makeup artist, I go,
clearest seawater.
it's Frankie. And
Basically, you know
Are you-
people
are
that
you-
you watch many times.
So while you're doing that, are you thinking this is priceless social media content? Get the poo out. Film me holding the poo.
I'm not a freak. No. I'm just good at storytelling after.
Harry, go and do a poo in the
Harry,
sea.
do another one, will you?
I need the content.
No. I obviously couldn't get that on film, so I was like, what can I do after? I was like, I feel like I'm so shocked by that experience that I need to tell people. I'm like, the people have got to know. So that's what happened. And then
Gave
you've
us a laugh.
remembered it.
Gave us a laugh.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I've remembered it.
There you go.
Do you do it all yourself? Or do you have social people
I
help with it at all?
do most of it myself. And then the Frankie Brush one, I employ a girl called Molly, who's wonderful, who I've taught how to be part of our brand, basically. So she creates a lot of the content with direction, I would say, from me. But she's really good at it, which is great.
I think you have to
You'll
be.
post
You
it.
have to be on socials,
Or
She
scheduled,
does it,
yeah.
don't you, as a business now? And this is what I was saying to you, Adam, before about maybe setting something up where a schedule every Monday. Bosh, right? This is my week's worth of social media.
Yeah, that can really help because otherwise you just don't stick to it, do you?
Yeah,
It can help,
yeah.
but I also find that your spontaneity goes when you do that. So I
But
say
there's
to
nothing
myself,
stopping
Yeah,
you
and
having
you-
the spontaneity,
and you
but
want
you
the-
know
Yeah.
you've still got the consistency of
Yeah.
a post going out every day or
I
a
have
reel.
a-
you know.
The realism and the spontaneity that comes with your stuff, where you can tell you've just thought of an idea and jumped
It's happened,
on.
yeah.
You need a balance of that.
Before Christmas, I thought to myself, I need a bit more consistency on my normal Instagram, my Frankie Noone Instagram, because I'm like, I really enjoy teaching makeup tutorials, and I know that people get a lot from it. Like, I really enjoy the fact that people learn makeup from me. And I used to do a thing called Makeup Mondays in COVID when I had loads of time, and obviously now I don't have any time, but I really wanted to bring it back. So that's my consistent at the moment. I make sure I film it on a Wednesday, edit it on a Thursday, whatever,
Goes out on
around
Monday.
clients, and it goes out on Monday. So yesterday I wasn't prepared at all because I've been at Hindu this weekend, and I was like doing the voiceover while Harry's downstairs. I was like, okay, so this is how you put an eyeliner on.
Was that
in
the smoky
chaos?
eyes? Because I saw that.
Oh, you've seen it. Do you know what? I'm coming back. I'm coming back on this podcast. You've been watching. I love
Yeah,
it.
I've been
It was
watching.
the smoky
I've been
eyes.
watching. I think
was.
that is such a great thing to do. Why would you not do that if you're in makeup and just do tutorials?
Yeah,
Because
it seems
it's
like a
Time,
no-brainer.
and it's also
It's
like we said
brilliant.
before, like it's really hard to talk to camera. Like sometimes I feel like people make it look easy because they do. Like,
Well, you seem really good and natural with
but
it.
I've been doing it for 10
people-
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
and
first
I
I was
know,
like-
I know what goes into that.
Do you know what I
people
used to
really
do?
struggle with this, don't they?
a
you
good
know what I
way to
used to
give back
do?
to your audience, isn't it?
And this is another thing, which is why this is like total, like just on a whim did it. I used to do Facebook Lives. So I'd be like, I can't get out of it. And then you should post at the end. I'd be like, people have to see
Once
it
you're
because
on,
they're on.
Yeah.
So I'd do that to like push myself out my comfort zone. And I remember this one time, just die at myself. I didn't even have a tripod at the time. I don't even know where I would get a tripod at that time. And it was balancing on my Hollywood mirror at work. And halfway through the live, falls off. And all the people on the live were like howling, like actual howling, like all the comments like, oh my God, this has happened. And I like picking it up like, I'm so sorry. But people still
genuine,
talking
isn't it?
about that to this day.
So they still stayed on and listened.
I feel like they
even though
stay for
couldn't
like
see
the rogue
anything.
moments on my Instagram. It's never mind. They don't even care about the makeup anymore. They just want to see me.
Nobody wants everything to go smoothly, do they?
No, they don't. I think
that's
people
just the
like you
realism,
more when
isn't
you're
it?
like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not
It
always
can be a real
like picture
sticking block
perfect,
in your mind
yeah.
of like, oh, I don't know, I don't look right. I don't know, but it's like,
Yeah.
like
It's
you
Like
say,
when I mess
it's
the
more
words up in a
authentic.
song, it's like people, oh, he's human like the rest of us.
Exactly. Human like the
You
rest of
spell these
us.
things out. Like he'll forget the words halfway through a song, and he'll just go, and then people find it even more endearing and
Of
funny.
course they will. I would.
And it adds
By the
to
way, I don't
adds
go.
to the
I don't go.
performance. You do. You go.
I Scooby do it. I Scooby do it. Scooby do. People don't. Some people don't even notice. And I look at people. I go.
That's a real art, then, isn't it?
Feeling a
Cock that
living.
up. Keep it between us.
People do love it when it's a bit.
Yeah, it's just off the cuff, isn't
Yeah.
it?
But like, I've seen Chris Martin do that on stage.
Yeah, I have as
Coldplay
well.
Going, oh no, I messed that up. Let me start again.
I
And,
love
people
that.
just find
That
it
is
dead funny.
endearing,
Yeah,
isn't
and
it?
you
Yeah,
get away
sure.
with it.
Mickey Flanagan did it on one of his talks, didn't he? So after the jokes,
Fuck that up.
Fuck that up. It's all right. We can edit this out. Stop laughing, you fuckers.
When it comes to the wedding day,
Yeah.
I'm just curious personally
Mm.
because there's obviously photographers and videographers, and then we're finding, and there's sort of conversations in my community about makeup artists and hair people that are doing all the content and bringing all the lights and
I know what you're going to say.
I don't have a problem with it at all, but I'm just wondering how you approach
Tell me.
the content on the day, and what do you want to get out of it, and how do you work with the other suppliers? Two questions there. What content are you looking for on a wedding day in order to promote yourself,
Right,
but also balance it with the respect
With
to
the
the bride?
respect to the suppliers, I
With the
think.
suppliers, yeah.
Both.
And the bride, of
Yeah.
course. Okay, so first of all, if there is no good light, there's no picture being taken for me. It's not happening. I'm not taking a light, and if it is a fake light, it doesn't work for me. Like I love natural light.
Yeah. Just music for my ears.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm only saying it for you. No, obviously. And then second of all, I really kind of go by whether I think the bride will be comfortable with me taking a picture of her. Because I know she's going to have pictures by whoever all day, and the photographer would send me somewhere if I asked. So if I feel like she's nervous or there's no time, it's not happening. You know, like I'm not going to go to her, you've got 10 minutes getting your dress, but I need a picture. It's just would.
Which
I
sometimes
can't,
do
like
see
I
that
sweat
happening,
at the thought,
and you
like I
can see
cannot.
them getting stressed out.
Yeah.
But the person's like, no, I need to get my content.
Yeah, and I also, I mean, I get it from you know, my kind of peers' side why they would want to get the
marketing
content,
thing,
and you know, especially if they're newer in the industry and they've got to get some content. But at the same time, I also very much, you would probably say that this as well, that if it's your turn as in video or photographer, I'm out there, because I'm like, it's too awkward when you need to do your job and I'm in the way. And I can really gauge that because I probably because I've done it for so long, but there's been times where I've watched someone stood in front of a videographer or a photographer. I'm like, you're not getting paid for this bit. Like this is their bit. They've got to get that bit.
It's such a bone of contention in the wedding industry, isn't it?
Yeah,
between
and I don't
suppliers.
feel like we should have them enough. I mean, that's what we're paid to do, and we're there to do that and capture those things. So it does get a bit annoying, but also I don't want to get in anyone's way or step on toes.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. You've got to judge it by
the day. It's by the bride, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you've got time and the day and the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, because I wouldn't step in and go, right, I need this if I can sense that the bride's not feeling it.
Yeah.
So
I think as well, like, with regards to working with suppliers, I would happily say to a photographer, do you mind if they're doing something, I'm like, do you mind if I get that as well? And more often than not, they're going to say, of course. You know, because they've probably taken to the right place, the right window, the right outside, wherever. And I'd rather work with someone like that than get in someone's way, because it can so easily get a bit like tense, can't it? I don't know, you might not do like
I've seen it loads where there's been like florists, but they've had a team of media people with them, and the photographer and video like, well, who are these 5 cameras and we're here to do the video?
You
Oh,
just
we're
gotta
getting the
work
content
together,
for the
haven't
florist.
you?
It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, you're here to
because
do flowers. do you know?
everyone's
Yeah.
really conscious of the fact that you've got to get content from
for
every
everything.
wedding's an opportunity to get content now.
You've got to use your noggin about it, haven't you? You've got
I
to be
agree, you've
respectful.
got to sense the tone. Sense the tone
read the
in
room.
read the room.
Read the room, be respectful. Because some people don't, you know.
You're only seeing at that part of the day. There's probably only a handful of the day's suppliers that you'll see, like photographer, videographer,
you'll see everyone.
florist. On that part, I want to ask if there's anything that gives you the ick.
I can go all day.
But I know it's probably going to be aimed at me and photographers and.
I'll give
not
you
me
two.
specifically.
I'll give
I
you
hope.
2, and I've put them on my stories before. And you know, obviously know Johnny Draper. Like he howls at one of the stories because he's just like, yeah. There's 2. I'm obviously not going to name any names. I can't remember
It was
one
Johnny
of them.
Draper, wasn't
What?
it?
No, he thinks it was him, and I'm like, of course it wasn't you. Like he's amazing.
It's
But
not. It's just no.
cut that out.
I would slip that in on purpose.
Yeah,
because he's
I
opening
know.
his
I know you're joking, of course.
Yeah, I'm only saying.
First of all, when I was pregnant, this was. I mean, I can tell what a photographer or videographer or any wedding supplier I feel like, and I don't mean to sound like big-headed here. I feel like I could tell what it's going to be like the second they walk in the door. Yeah. And this one guy that came in, obviously years ago, Harry's like nearly 4, I was like doing someone's eye makeup right at the end, like probably touch-ups. And he really, I think I'd just done the eyes, obviously I'd not done any skin or anything. And you know, as a video and photographer, like the best bit's not till the end anyway. Like, why are you getting it with eyeshadow all down her face? It's not the time.
Yeah.
And he came, here, stood behind me, like unreasonably close. You know, when you're like
Johnny,
alarmed. This is not Johnny. Well, let's say it was.
Sounds
No,
just
it was
like
not. And he balanced his camera on my shoulder during COVID.
Never.
And I was like, you know, when you're just so alarmed by something, and I was well pregnant and livid. So I was like,
You have to tell me that
have
it's
got to
off
get
camera.
off.
You have to
I
tell
actually
me.
can't remember.
I remember you telling me this.
Where was the venue?
Oh, it was so long ago, can't remember that either. It was so long ago. And
I
then
need to know
and there's
this.
one more, and it's to someone who chews chewing gum and really loud. And I can't go. Oh my god, no, it's not for me. I can't even go
It's
with
horrible,
that.
isn't it?
It's horrible. So that's just two minor horror stories.
I mean, I've always had a thing with chewing gum.
I'm trying to
Always
think of that
seems
is
a bit
now. I've got a
cheap
couple of
and,
people
like,
in
I
mind.
don't
rude
mind
and-
it if it's just there. Like I'm in someone's face.
At a
Like
wedding,
sometimes
like,
I'll have
you
it.
shouldn't be smacking
No.
your lips, should you really?
It's just etiquette on a wedding day, isn't it?
I have to tell grooms.
Don't be a dick is the
They
line.
stood waiting
Yeah.
at the ceremony for the bride to come in, and it's the start of the ceremony, and they're still. And I go,
Get
rid of your
rid.
gum.
Get rid.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Or there's a mint, your breath's a bit pongy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that.
Photographers
Gotta be
with
so
really,
aware.
you can't, and this is part of, you know, for me, I
Part
think you
of
should
your
always
service,
be,
isn't it?
you've got to be presentable, you've got to have good
Oh my-
breath, and you've not got to do things that are
We could
inappropriate.
literally be here all day talking about this because I'm like paranoid about it.
Do you ever get like stressful situations from the bride, or like, I don't like my face?
Oh yeah, what do you do with that?
Not really, no.
Because you're pro and you're the best.
You'd hope I was a pro.
She's
It's
not going
been
to tell
so
us that on
long.
the podcast.
No, but
is
like
she?
pro. You like
Pro.
You like the best, aren't you? So
Josh, I'll take that.
Say if somebody, say not you, say another makeup artist does a makeup for a bride and it's on her wedding. At the end of it, the bride says, "I don't like it."
It shouldn't
How the hell
happen.
would you address
It-
that?
That shouldn't happen.
It
because
shouldn't, 'cause
the conversation and the kind
trials
of
and-
you
Yeah,
have a
of
trial
course,
first
of
of all,
course,
but the
yeah.
conversation that you have at the beginning of any makeup should stop for any of that happening because
Yeah.
the investigation that you do. I mean, I'm you know, you might just think, what do you want to look like? That might be what you're thinking. I investigate.
I
No,
guess my question
I
is
get-
more
yeah.
like how you deal with stress, if there's any like mums
Yeah.
of the bride or anything like that going on.
Yeah, because it can be quite tense sometimes, can't it? Within
Emotions are
families
high,
and
aren't they,
emotion.
on weddings?
That's all it
Yeah.
is. You know, it's
I guess-
emotionally
it comes back to
heightened.
reading the
Everything.
room, I suppose, doesn't it?
Reading the room, and I feel like it used to make me more worried years ago, whereas now I feel like I'm quite good at like dissolving any tension if I need to. Because I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, you see it, and like I said before, like I love women. Like I feel like, I don't know, because I've got one or three girls, and my mum, my poor dad's been like hounded for like 40 years. Like just good in female situations. I've got loads of girlfriends. I just feel like I love talking to the mother of the bride, auntie. You know, like
yeah.
the bride. I can sense what a bride feels like by how she's breathing, like, and know
Yeah,
what she's
yeah.
feeling like.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, she doesn't want me to be very loud right now, so I'm just going to, you know, hold back with her. Whereas she might want to talk loads. I'm like, I'll talk loads. That's absolutely fine.
need to
You
fill
can
the
just
silence
read
and-
it. Yeah,
You've
so
got to
I
be
feel like
versatile, haven't you? Yeah, definitely.
the amount of times people have said to me, like, at the end of having the makeup done, thank you so much for talking to me, you know, as a bride, because I felt really nervous
Yeah, I
then.
feel like that's part of yours and our role on that
Yeah.
time of day is to just keep them calm and happy.
Yeah, that's part of the role. It really is.
I've gotten really comfortable with just being completely honest with, like, because you know your
Oh,
bride,
yeah.
you've got to know them a little bit,
Yeah.
and you know them, and if the mum is being a bit of a pain, you don't have to like pretend and just
You
keep
just say,
neutral.
listen, ignore it,
And
don't worry
you
about
can-
it.
Like I'd give my bride like,
Getting involved.
but I've gotten comfortable with that.
What's she like?
You do, though. You get
Because
comfortable.
you know, if you can tell that they're
Yeah.
getting annoyed with their mum, and you give them the eye, and they
Yeah.
just kind of go out and they smirk, and I don't mind, like, just being a real human.
Agreed.
in that
You-
moment
You are
with them.
literally being just another human to them.
You don't have to feel like, oh, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, I'll stay
Yeah,
out of it.
no.
I don't mind being
Yeah.
like.
But it's good you feel
They're in the
connected
car.
enough.
You're
isn't
right,
it?
because I can tell your mum's being a bit.
Oh, without
It's
a doubt,
good to
yeah.
feel connected enough to be able to do that. And
Yeah, and I
feel
wouldn't
comfortable
do that
doing it, and
unless
that's
I had a
important.
No, and
Rapport.
again, you read
Yeah.
the room though, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
if that's the right time to make a little joke about that, you do it. If it's
Might
not,
cut
you
this out.
don't.
Sorry,
But-
mums.
Yeah,
Moving on.
you do. You have to read the room for sure.
So obviously it's not just you on the bridal side. You've
Yeah.
got a team of.
Well, there's 3 of us full time, and then we kind of like hire in and out, probably up to 8 of us now. So when we do like big weddings, there's probably
Okay,
like
so what's that like freelance?
yeah. So that we're all freelance. No one is employed on the bridal side, but we work
got
under
you.
the Bridal by Frankie like umbrella, as we call it. So the work comes into, let's say, the Bridal by Frankie inbox, and we send it out to me, Steffi, or Ellie. And then say it's like a wedding of over 8 makeups or more, we send out one of our further assists. So like it's only ever going to be like who we worked at Mac with. I would not ever use anyone that I didn't know was unbelievable.
That's
Yeah, I was going
important.
to say,
isn't it?
how do you like obviously branch out, hire staff, I mean, or get freelancers in,
Professionally trained
but
people.
then contain that brand and
The brand,
trust
yeah,
the quality of the
and,
work as
and
well,
I feel like as well, like being punctual, being like you presented well. I feel like that all comes in part. Like you could be the most amazing makeup artist, but if you've got long acrylic nails that are filthy, it's not happening.
And you're chewing
You know what I
gum.
mean? It's not happening.
It's not happening.
I can't cope. It's not for me. But then again, you could be like amazingly clean, punctual, on time, ready, but they're not great at makeup. You can't do it either. Like you've
But
got
that
to be a
person can
nice
be trained.
hybrid.
They can be trained though, can't they?
What in makeup?
I think attitude comes first.
I think you can be
and,
trained
and
in.
presented, but
Yeah, you can train how to do makeup, but you can't train.
No, I think the other way.
Personality and the.
I think the other way. I think you can kind of. I think unless you're like amazing at makeup, as in like you already are. I don't train anyone unless they were already amazing. But I suppose you can learn how to do it.
Yeah, you're not teaching them that.
No, but I feel like you could more likely to like envelop them in your brand and this is what we do type thing.
yeah.
I mean,
okay,
I'll happily
fair
say to someone the nails,
Yeah.
they're filthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Have the nails
You've
now.
got
But
to.
you wouldn't
I
let-
don't know
would
one
they even
bride
get
that
through
would
the
want
door?
long nails that are dirty.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
totally get that.
And it's got to be the
And you can
bride.
tell them to wash
what
the
the
nails, I
bride.
get that, but
I mean,
when-
I know we're focused on nails here. It's not just the nails. It could be anything. It could be like unironed clothes or anything.
Yeah, but when you're approaching like taking someone on,
Yeah.
unless they've
I already know
got
them.
that attitude,
I already
and
know
stuff.
them.
Yeah,
I've known them for whoever works with us is from a long time ago. So
yeah.
unless they were like there's a couple of people now that I've met through like just being in the industry, I guess, doing like masterclasses and things like that. I'd probably look into subcontracting them, but you've got to be fussy.
Yeah,
You've got to be fussy.
You've got to be fussy because
You
it's
can't
your
settle.
name, And I always say to people, like the girls when we have like team meetings and stuff, I'm like they're so respectful of me, and I'm so
It is your
respectful of them. But I'm like
actual
it's
name as well,
my
isn't it?
name on the chopping block. Like, and if anything happens, like I have to deal with it. So please don't
And
do
people
anything
are
wrong.
booking it for you.
Yeah.
And so whoever
Yeah.
isn't you needs
We've
to
all
be,
got to reflect each other. Yeah, for sure.
It's like when you recommend people, isn't it? For me now, it's like
Agreed.
recommending other suppliers. You've got to be 100% confident these
Agreed.
guys are really good at what they do.
Because it comes back to you otherwise.
Well, I don't.
Why did you recommend
I
that
only
person?
recommend like a photographer, for example. I'll recommend them based on the work, but also who they are.
On the
Agreed.
and how they're going to fit on
You've
the
got to
day.
be a good hybrid.
Not just like
Got
they
to be,
take
yeah,
good
got to
photos.
be. You can be an amazing photographer and a bit of a knob on the wedding day, and
Yeah.
I still even see it now with some people.
Yeah, and I'd never recommend that person. Doesn't matter how good the photos are.
I wouldn't.
It's true.
Yeah,
Because you
definitely.
need someone, the bride and groom, well, the bride for me, like they need someone who, it's almost like an ally on the wedding morning, don't they? They need like another friend.
Yeah.
They don't need someone who it's about them, or
I bet
anything
you're
like that.
Because you're impartial as well. You've almost become like a bit of a therapist. I'm going back to the,
Yeah.
the annoying mum thing, but you've become a bit like a therapist.
Well,
don't you?
I'm with
Like-
them for a good hour. It's literally one-to-one. You're there and you talk to them and you've got all their nerve like pouring out to you.
And it's
You've
just
got to know
before
how
their
to
wedding, so
handle it.
you've got to be that calming
Yeah.
influence, or yeah.
But then some people want like funniness at that point. Some people
Yeah.
want like not much talk. And I'm like, if you don't want me to talk, fine. We don't have to talk.
I can't. I find that it's hard for you to do that.
I know. I will talk. But if somebody
Bit like
wants like a
myself.
slower convo, and they want to be
Yeah.
like a bit calmer or not talk about the wedding or talk about the wedding, I will.
Just-
Or if someone needs a shove, as in like, I will point them into a direction where I know they'll be comfy. 'Cause you end up knowing what to do, don't you?
Yeah, and all the other girls are also. I mean, I know Steffi.
Steffi and Ellie, yeah, they're great.
They're also good at that. As
Oh,
well. So,
without a
that's
doubt,
part
yeah.
of the selection process.
Yeah.
And you need to know that they can also handle that side of things.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. There's not even one. They were all like similar. There's not even one worry with those guys at all.
This isn't a question really.
All right, go on.
But if go and check out Frankie's Instagram, because as a team, your branding is on point anyway.
thank
But like, I love how you've got all the team have got their initials in the hoodie.
Yeah.
I've got a Frankie hoodie.
Yeah,
Got my
you
initials
do.
on it.
You do
It's
have an
brilliant.
A
I
on
love it
there.
as well. Yeah. I'm really
Yeah.
I
happy
think I
with it.
remember when you got this
Um,
hoodie.
Yeah,
I was
because
super-
when I did her wedding, she
And I don't even
gifted
sell
me a
them
hoodie.
anymore. I
was
did.
like, I think I got a bit of jealousy going on there when you got
Yeah,
that.
you've
Get
got.
one made.
I mean, I've never been an advocate at all for like uniform. Like photographers
in yours,
wearing
you've
their
got to
polo
blend in
shirt
though,
and
haven't
stuff.
you?
Different.
It looks
Yeah.
naff, but for you
Yeah.
and the way that you've done it, it's really
Yeah.
cool. So it's not a question, but go and check out Frankie's branding because it's good.
Thanks,
I
I
love the
think a
initials.
photographer.
It's a shame you don't sell them anymore.
I know.
I think photographer and videographer, if you get a team, they turn up with all branded logos on the store.
It
The fruit of the
looks-
loom polo and the
It's like, oh
logo
my
on
god,
the
it's
back.
not a
Now, and
corporate
this is
shoot
awful.
for God's
Yeah,
sake.
it looks like you're not as good as you might be.
It depends on the service.
Like
Yeah.
you're trying to,
For like-
trying to look more professional than probably what
Yeah.
you are.
Hair and makeup.
Whereas
if you've
hair and
done it
makeup's
cool,
different, yeah.
It's great. And
Yeah,
like
it's
there's
got to be cool,
certain
yeah.
suppliers that can do it. but photography and videography, like the Fruit of the Loom polo with the
No.
logo on the back.
No way. No.
Is that your
It's
pet
an
hate?
ick.
It is an ick. It is an ick. You are right. It is an ick.
I think it looks now.
It is a bit
I'll
of
tell you
an
what also gets me as well is people.
Do you see people turning up dressed like that?
Of course. I see all sorts. You will see all sorts. But whenever I do a wedding, you're not always there, obviously.
Yeah.
So I
So
will
I've
see
got to
all
say the
different...
worst one
She's
for
a
me.
crying shame.
The worst
Crying
one for
shame
me
is
is
crying
when
shame.
suppliers go in the wedding breakfast room and put their business cards on the tables. But
Who has business cards,
You know
really?
the very worst one for me. I was setting up for a wedding. You had the entertainer who was coming at. No, I'm not dropping names or anything. This is a long time ago. It was like so. This person was a DJ, but was also a kids entertainer, and they did the kids shows. No, with the spinning plates. You know,
Let's
spinning
see.
plates on sticks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember this guy goes around the wedding breakfast room and he puts a flyer like this on each table. This is somebody's wedding.
no.
And I looked at the flyer and it's got this kids entertainer spinning plates like a clown. And it was, and then the other side it was weddings and it was kids.
He's not read the room, has he?
And I was like, if I was the bride and groom and that was splattered around my wedding, I would go ballistic. And then at night when they come, they had a massive banner in front of the DJ of like a clown spinning a thing, and I thought, there's do's and there's don'ts, isn't there? For me, that's a massive no-no.
Yeah. No.
Promoting yourself on a wedding
it's not a time to
the thing to
self-promote.
do.
The band.
No.
Because if you're good enough at what you do, you're promoting yourself anyway, you know.
It's
not a time for self-promotion
the band's
at all.
Banners behind the band on the night do. Like,
I don't even like that.
Video
I don't
point of
see
view,
that.
It's always dead annoying.
Yeah.
It depends if it looked cool and it's brand and it blends, I suppose.
There's other ways to do it though, isn't there? There's other ways to
cool,
promote.
like, neon sign or something.
Yeah, maybe.
true. Yeah.
But the
There's
pulled
loads of
down
ways.
banners are a bit.
We've descended into.
We digressed.
Slagging off loads of shit now, aren't we? Just like putting all our pet hates out there.
I love a pet hate.
The
though.
business cards at weddings, though, for me is just.
It needs to go.
Let's get onto Frankie Brush and your other. So, well, tell us about it.
So I always probably wanted my own range of something, I would say. And then makeup brushes, obviously use them every day. And it was the one. It was just the one. Like I was like, I want a range of tools that I can not just be pro level, but everyone can use. As in, like, I have so many people that I teach, as in, like, on tutorials, and then I should have my own range of brushes,
So
of
is this
course.
born out of, like, I want something that I need
I'm having
that's
it.
going to be good enough, so
that
I'll
I
make
can
my
then,
own. So.
of course. And then, obviously, who I am, like, it took, like, nearly a year to design and manufacture. And I literally sent them back so many times. They're like, what about this one? No. And to the point where I was like drawing them. I was like, this is what they've got to look like, and this is what they've got to do, and this is how they've got to feel. And that's who you are when when you're designing something. So that was, they launched in November 2020. So it was COVID. So I had a whole year like of not working, which was awful.
Yeah,
like not for me, like not the time to sit down and do nothing. But if we'd not had COVID, I would never have had a chance to do that because I'm so busy at work.
You got the time to do it, yeah.
So launched Frankie Brush in 2020, and at the end of 2020, and then so we got it with 5 years this year. Wow. Yeah.
But then, like, because what you've got with that is not just a sideline, but it's a whole nother.
It's a full-time job.
Full-time, yeah.
So I employ someone, like I said before, to help me with that now.
As another stream of income for.
Yeah.
For
Did it start off as a little side hustle? I'm going to do it, or did you have big aspirations for it anyway? But
No, not a side hustle. When it launched, it was honestly, I've never seen anything like it. And I started off in my mum and dad's cellar, and it was there were thousands of brushes and thousands of orders immediately like that. I was like,
so here's the takeaway for people. Is there any product that you can sell within your industry that you can have attached to your website or attached to your Instagram, people can go and buy something? I have a wedding planner that I sell, and we have a course about wedding filmmaking, the business side. It's can be side hustles, but then could turn into big hustles.
As suppliers, we should all be thinking about little sort of related things, but like sidelines and other income streams that we can do.
And just you might not want to do what you're doing forever. Yeah. You might not want to do it forever.
Just good.
You don't know. It's good to have different
baskets,
things. Yeah, agreed. Like I like to have different things coming in at different times.
I want to know more about these products because this is brilliant, right? So you started off in your mum and dad's cellar, and it just blew up
like Steve Jobs in your garage.
Immediately,
and all them sales are coming in through the website.
Through website,
is it a Shopify? Is it actually on your website?
It's Squarespace.
So it's a separate one for your products.
A website.
I built the website.
Yeah.
Is it an
Shopify.
add-on to your actual makeup website, or is it a completely separate website?
It should be really now, because the size of it now should be separate. But we
Right.
I have a main website. It's called makeupbyfrankie.com, and you have the two tabs: Frankie Brush or the studio.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like anything service
But
based
all
basis through the
because I've
studio.
been on it, all the
Yeah.
products that are listed on there and the platform for like buying them, that's
Is
all.
there.
It's a Squarespace sort
Squarespace, yeah.
of layout plugin
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I'd say keep it together, because
Squarespace is amazing, as in like if you don't want to do
As opposed
Shopify,
to Shopify, yeah.
because Shopify, when I didn't know it was going to take off, I was like, I don't really, I wanted a website that was not like Wix or something like that. And Squarespace is that like kind of middle ground where it's a good place to start if you're in service or in retail. So I was like, I've got both, so I need to have both together.
Is the fees and stuff like there is with Shopify?
Yeah, and mine is like probably the most advanced plan now because of the size of both of them. But at first it was like a tiny little plan, but then I obviously outgrew it immediately.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been going now for nearly 5 years. But when I went back to after COVID, I obviously couldn't stop working physically because I had hundreds of weddings booked in already, and they were all getting postponed. So
Yeah.
that first year after we went back to work, I gave birth in 2021 September. And then I had 3 weeks off after I gave birth, and then I went back to work. And from the ridiculous, I know, I was literally like, my womb is dropping out. Sorry, too much info. And then
I'll leave that in.
leave it in. And then so I always take January off. So in February 2022 to December 2022 that year, we did 198 weddings as a team. I did 91 of those, and 98 of those.
Wow.
I'd just given birth. Frankie Brush was massive,
Yeah.
and I was balancing that doing all my weddings and all my normal makeup appointments and lessons and masterclasses and things like that. And at the same time, God knows why, that was when I decided to take over the full building, which I only had the top half at the time, take over the full building and refurb the whole thing. So with that came like architect, structural engineer, building regs, the works, as in like I ripped the entire building out. Like, how would you know how to get gas to a building so you can get central heating? And honestly, I was like, baby in one hand, brushes in another.
Time.
Is that the year you got married as well?
Oh yes, I got married as well, twice.
Wow.
Twice.
Got married and then had the baby.
Was
in
Kaz
between.
all right in all this time?
Kaz
Must have
is
been hard
fine. He's
for
well
him.
relaxed. He was probably like, "Who's this maniac that I've just married?" I'm like, "It's your fault you married me."
I just want to touch on the importance of what we just talked about there, because like you said just earlier about you might not want to do this forever,
Yeah.
and you're building another business that you can sell.
Exactly. An exit plan, but not.
You
at
can't
this
really
moment
sell
in time.
goodwill of I'm going out and doing makeup
No,
business.
and I wouldn't want to sell like if I wouldn't want to sell me as a bridal business because I'm like, I wouldn't be there. It's not me, is it?
You can't really sell that.
No.
Because it's
True.
just goodwill, but you can sell a business that's
Yeah.
attached to it as a retail business, which I think is such a good strategy.
That's you.
And I was always, it's always in the back of my mind years ago, everything relies on me. I've got to go
Yeah.
out there, and if something happens to me, everything
You're buggered.
stops,
Yeah.
money stops. So what else can I do?
Yeah.
And that's when we set up our Shopify's
Yeah.
and our other businesses. And
It's just like, it's safety, isn't it, really, I guess?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the COVID taught me that. It's like
Same.
when that stopped, I had to start this coming in. Thank
Yeah.
God for that. And then we did the course then.
Yeah, and
others,
I think a lot of people around the same sort of time. A lot of people went, "Oh shit, COVID's happened. Like, I need
Yeah.
something to
yeah.
kind
And
of cover me in case it ever happens again." What can
This
I do?
just like sprung up a load of new types of businesses for people
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well, and it was really good to see how people innovated and changed
Yeah, I
and did
completely
things.
agree.
It was
Completely
impressive.
agree.
You got some that just sat there and cried and thought, oh. and others that just went
with
mad.
Doughboy at Mitten Hall and the pizza van. Doughboy.
Probably.
They do all of Mittens
Probably.
and Eve's evening
Okay,
food now.
right.
That was through lockdown.
Amazing.
He just started making pizzas.
It's incredible.
And selling
it's
them out of his
incredible.
back garden takeaway. And then and then he got a van and it turned.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Ace.
Yeah, it really is.
How do you market your products? Where do your sales come from? Do you do a lot
That
through
probably is the
Instagram?
problem because that.
So there's no advertising with your products. It all comes through your Instagram and stuff, which is the beauty of having this personal brand. You're doing
Yeah.
your makeup tutorials. Oh, by the way, we sell these that I'm using.
You get a lot
Yeah.
of the sales come from Instagram.
Most, yeah.
You don't put any
No
Facebook
ads,
ads
no.
or
Just
anything.
talking
no.
I
about
should
it
be
all the
doing it at
time
some
on your
point.
Instagram.
Well, not if you've got enough.
Not even
and it's
that, you
going
don't want to
and
bore
it's
people.
banal.
It's
No,
just
but
like
like
people
because
know
you're
now.
there, you're using them when
I
you're
use
doing
them.
your tutorials.
I use them, and
you
we
talk about
do
them every now
a
and again.
little bit of. It's not really advertising. It's more like we sometimes do a bit of collab now with different makeup artists, or
Yeah.
when I teach masterclasses with the Charlotte Tilbury team, obviously using Frankie Brush. So that's like an amazing time to showcase. And then
So
when
you
other
do, like,
makeup artists do.
classes and lessons.
I
and
think
classes
I
and
think
stuff, like
indirect
sell it
marketing
for that.
is the way, which is exactly what you do. So you're doing a makeup tutorial. You're not doing a video about this is my makeup brush, isn't it dead good?
No, because
you're
people
doing a
know
tutorial.
that you,
So
I'm
you're
obviously
using
going
it.
to use this because that's all I use. That's genuinely all
And
that I
think-
use.
And if you're going to make an advert,
Yeah.
I think that's the one to do rather than
Yeah.
an advert about your product.
Agreed, you're
Does
so
it
right.
get found through Google, like SEO and stuff?
No.
No.
It should. This is all.
Because
I
I'm just
feel
thinking,
like.
if you're getting that much traffic and sales
I know.
through your website, I imagine it will just rank really well anyway.
Yeah, I think so. If you like type it in, you'll find it.
But you don't know about
You'll
that.
find it.
You don't know what you're doing.
I'm not going
with
to say
that, do you?
Google myself, am I?
Don't tell David Stubbs about this; he'll be shocked.
I
I googled myself last night. I do.
I feel like like I was saying before, the compartmentalising thing. I feel like until I've kind of completed if we're going to have another child, I can't work anymore on the businesses until I've done that purely
Yeah.
because I know how hard it was last time. As in, not when I had the child. I feel like Harry, she's the best child ever, but the being pregnant, the running a business, the giving birth, not having much time off after. And I probably relate that to a lot of stress, as in like I was stressed at that time. Whereas I'm not as stressed now, but I've
I mean,
got
you took a
other
lot on
things. Yeah, I
in
really
one-
did, and
in that
it's
year,
stupid actually. Stupid.
So you've got plans then to progress it further once you've got
Oh,
the
without a
time
doubt,
to
of
do it?
course. Once I've got I don't want to miss my kids growing up. Like I know I've only
Yeah.
got one kid at the moment, but I don't want to miss her growing up. That's probably a priority right now, as well as having a really lovely bridal business, having a lovely studio
I'm in
to
your
run,
boat. Yeah, I get
and
it.
having Frankie Brush. I've got the stuff going on.
What's the plans though? When you do,
Sure, yeah, he'll come to me. I'll let you know.
You've got real good growth in that makeup.
keeping it
in that makeup
on the down low.
industry.
It's top secret.
The growth's massive. Not with doing the makeup. I mean the product side of things. And
Yeah, it's
it
massive.
sounds like you're just
Yeah,
scratching the
You could
surface
say
at the
that
minute.
your niche in the wedding world lends itself to products because you can do brushes, you can do mirrors, and
Got a bridal
like,
collection
I don't
now
know.
in the Frankie Brush.
I've got this in my notes. You've got the because obviously you sell into other makeup artists, but then you've got the stuff that you can sell
Yeah.
to brides as well.
Yeah.
Give me some numbers. I mean, I'm interested. in
Oh
the
no, I
numbers.
don't want to talk about numbers. Cringes
It's
me
not a
out.
Dragon's Den. This is just us chatting.
I know, but
How many do you sell in a day?
So on a yearly turnover, then
I'll tell you
let's
this.
do some
I'll tell
comparisons.
you
If you're
this.
not comfortable, don't- I
I'll tell
can
you
edit
this.
it.
I don't want to take either business over being VAT registered until I've had another child.
Right,
I'll tell you that.
but you're up
So
there.
you're hovering.
Could do.
But you're round about up there on the turnover for each one. I'm thinking more products wise.
Yeah.
The products
I don't-
wise,
that's-
you could
yeah.
take that over there and
If I
straight
wanted
away
to,
if you wanted to.
If I wanted to, I could work full time on my Frankie Brush business,
Hmm.
and I'd probably be a little bit more skint than I am now. I hate things like this, but
Yeah.
I would be fine.
Yeah.
And then in time, but like I said, I don't think I would. I don't want to have to cope. I want to be able to want to watch my kid grow up. I want to
Oh, yeah.
I want to do that
Yeah, and you
before I
enjoy
work
doing the bridal
on.
stuff.
You
as
get the
well, don't
balance,
you?
yeah.
And I love,
having both
I
businesses.
love being a bridal makeup
But
artist, and I'm
the
like,
fact that you've built a sideline that has become a full-time business that
Yeah.
competes on turnover and
I
is
know.
and that kind of pushing that
Awesome.
threshold, you've got that.
guys.
You
Really
could,
good.
and it's like it's only going
it's
to
a
grow.
safety
As,
thing, though, don't you think? I think one of the reasons I ended up in bridal is because it's so safe. You book
Yeah.
so far in advance. I mean, I would have always gone down the route. It's the right place for me, without a doubt. I love it, but I feel like for me to look in my diary until the end of 2026 and know that things are going to be fine, you're good, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
nice place to be.
Yeah.
Whereas with retail, as in because I kind of go through the motions of it all now. Retail is like, oh look, it's January, you're gonna fail big time. That's what you feel like, and you get to November, and you're like, okay, we're all good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you've got
Yeah, it's
it's like a learning curve. I would say that a
you'll always want
business,
to make. I mean, it's like me with the singing. I don't know as much now, but I love it.
you love it,
But I
and
don't
that's
want to
where
do
your heart
100 gigs
is.
a year anymore.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm
Yeah,
pleased
we
we have the
cap.
other things
I cap
that,
as well,
that work.
yeah.
yeah, but like for anyone listening, anyone who's in the industry, whatever your service is, it can be done. You can have a little sideline product thing,
Yeah.
and you've taken it to a full-time business that you could just give up your bit bridal and just go full hell for
Yeah.
leather with that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's nice to have that option,
if
isn't
you
it?
just try a product or one thing
Yeah.
and just get started, this is
think-
where it can build to.
You can
Yeah.
give yourself choices, can't you? Then
I
as well?
think some people would think, if I've ever spoken to people about it before, they probably think I'm a fool for not have pushed the Frankie Brush side further than I have already, the retail side.
Yeah, but you've got that to come if you want to.
Exactly, and I also think
You got time.
at the time I love what I do now, as in like I love, and I feel like it all ties in, and what will happen will happen. Like it's all in some kind of, I haven't made the plan, but it's in some kind of
and,
plan.
and you're young enough. You've got a whole
My
life
mum
ahead
always
of you,
says that.
haven't
My
you?
mum always
But
says that, yeah.
it's like, say I'm 50 now, and it's like, am I going to do what I'm going out and performing for another 20 years? I might do.
You might do.
But I'd like
It'd be nice to be on your own terms, yeah.
But I'd
more
like
on your
to
own
think,
terms,
actually, I don't have to do that if I don't want, because I've built this other business alongside
I
it.
think that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it's been going for 7 years, my online business, and if I didn't sing again, I'm all
You'd
right.
be okay. Yeah,
do you know
you'd
what
be
I mean?
fine.
But I do it
And it's
because
a
I love
nice
it.
safety thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you've got
totally,
that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ace. There's your takeaway, guys.
Have you
isn't it?
got
Definitely.
any advice for anyone that did want to, like, think of a product, how to launch it? Where would you start if you were doing it again?
Oh, jeez.
Probably
I think
what
I'd probably
she's
do the
already done.
same.
Exactly
Yeah, I'd do the same.
Tutorials and products for
But
it.
I already had a platform, so that's where
that's
where I
been
was
key for
like,
you,
I'm
wasn't
gonna launch a product because I know my people would want this product.
So you got to time it right.
They're gonna want it. Whereas if you don't, I don't know how you'd do it if you didn't have a platform. Actually, you'd have to look into more into marketing, ads, and that kind of the whole marketing scheme.
So when you did it, it was COVID. Obviously, like you had the time to think about it, so that kind
Yeah.
of helped.
I mean, my
But
launch
did you time
literally
it
went like
knowing
this.
That I've got this platform, it can work.
My timing was before Christmas, obviously. I was like, well, that's obviously the perfect time to do it because everyone will buy them as gifts. And I wasn't like, I know it might be for some brands because I'm a pro makeup artist, but like, I only want to sell to pro makeup artists, but the pool of pro makeup artists compared to the rest of humans is like tiny. So I was like, I obviously want to go to my normal customers. Like, I want them to have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm always quite like, I've become more planned and regimented as I've got older, but I'm like quite spontaneous at the same time, like you've probably guessed. Like I was literally like, we're launching on that day, and I literally got my phone and I was like, guys, some new products here. It literally went wild. That was literally it. And I was like, because it was so not like picture perfect, I guess it worked for me.
This is because you have got this real engaged community.
Yeah, but I love them. Like I love the women in that community, and I do have some men as well. You too as well now.
And that works. But like, I feel like because you're so engaged, people will just trust what you're saying because they're
they
on
should
that
though, because they
journey
won't be
with you.
lying. It's not happening.
Yeah, and they know that.
Yeah,
so
and I'll
go,
happily say like,
okay,
this is
cool.
crap. Don't buy that.
Yeah.
And people know that as well. Like
It's not, your following is not huge if you don't like me saying.
No, it's
but
not.
Really
It's
well
engaged.
Yeah.
I think I'd take that over a massive following any day.
Yeah, community over size of audience.
And I think ties right in with the personal brand, doesn't it? Like, I feel like personal brand and community is what every business wants right now, big or small.
It's funny people say community's not huge. I mean, God, I've got 16,000 followers on Instagram. For me, that's huge. Imagine 16,000 people in a room.
Nowadays, it's not. It's not massive.
Compared to the whole influencer type vibe, like the whole.
For somebody in the wedding industry like you,
I
that's
think
brilliant.
big companies have woken up to the fact that it doesn't like.
They want to see people.
It's the engagement and
without
the community
a doubt
over the size of the audience.
Of course, and this is why, like, I don't know if you've listened to the Diary of a CEO recently, the one with Daniel Priestley. Have you listened to that?
I like
one?
Daniel Priestley.
Yeah,
I bought his
listened
book
to his
many years ago. Key Person of Influence. Yeah,
exactly. You want to be a key person of influence over an influencer, and I'm like, I could not agree with that statement anymore.
Yeah,
people look to me for influence on makeup, and then if you take other stuff about family or where I've been with Harry or whatever, then great. Like, I'm not going to lie about it. I have actually been there and done that.
Yeah, it's mega.
So yeah, I think key person of influence.
I mean, as great as your makeup
great.
content no doubt is, I'm more interested in what Harry's doing.
Harry wants to see Harry, and no one cares about me anymore.
But they're selling the service off the back of these things again. Is that byproduct? People want to consume. They want entertainment. They want stuff to go and watch because they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Why not do it with something you really like?
Are you scared of bees?
No.
Oh, good.
Can I hear about the embarrassing story?
Yeah.
We're not far finished, are we?
No, but that's it. Let's wrap up.
But I can't wrap up yet. We're going to hear about the embarrassing story. We always ask, usually, have you got a story in the wedding industry?
Can it be cut if I change my mind after?
A bit of an interesting story.
Okay.
These are the normal finish-up questions. And go on, you got to be intrigued right at the start.
It's got to be from a wedding.
It's from a wedding.
From a wedding.
It's such a random story.
And is it embarrassing for you or embarrassing
for
someone
me,
else?
Shocking.
Brilliant.
Awful.
Let's hear it. This is the best.
Is it as bad as Adam pooing himself?
I would actually say it's worse.
Right, go for
but
it.
It's not like it's not right. Okay.
The floor is yours, Frankie.
Fine. So this is years and years ago. Because I was like, can I tell this story or not? It was so long ago, and they'd probably laugh about it as well. And it was when I was in the studio upstairs. He had to come in through a clothes shop and go up the stairs into my studio, whereas now you're just coming through the front door. And two ladies walk across the I see them out the window, come up the stairs and into the studio they come. And obviously brides, like, they always bring the mum or the sister or the auntie or whoever. Anyway, I can't remember what her name was now. I'm obviously not going to say it either. I was like, let's say she's called Emma. And she's like, hi, it's Emma. And then I was like, oh, is this mum? Lesbians. There were 2 brides. Two brides.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's good.
However, I need to tell the rest of the story.
It was your delivery. It was the way you just went. Carry on.
So, I mean, there's 2 parts of this story. I mean, the other lady behind it didn't even look old enough to be mum. It's just because I automatically thought she's brought a mum.
Oh my
so
God.
I was like, and obviously I wanted to set on fire. Like, I wanted the ground to just
that's going to kill the vibe.
burn. So I was
Mortifying,
like, you know, in
isn't
your heart's like, I was like, oh, is that, what do I do now? Anyway, technically, Steffi, who works with me, she does the emails as well, and she books people in. She always books people in. So she had said, she hadn't left me a note to say that it was for 2 brides, and she hadn't booked 2 trials in. So I was like,
sticky note on the mirror saying, lesbians.
She's actually made the error because she hasn't booked 2 thingies in, 2 trial appointments, literally physically, and it didn't say, these people are 2 brides.
Yeah,
you know, we have 2 brides. Like, it's
so
not
in
common, but
in your defence,
it happens. You know, at least a few times a year we have same-sex couples,
so
of course.
You've not had the information that they're both there for a trial.
No. So then I
So you've
have
assumed
made
that it's-
assumptions, and this
yeah.
is you never
you didn't
assume.
get that booking, did you?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, damn right, I
Oh
did.
my God.
Honestly, and then I was like, my voice went even higher than it is. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, you don't even look old enough to be a mum. I was like, you are. And I was like,
you
who wants a
tried to dig
Prosecco?
you had
So
to
I just plied
dig
them with loads
yourself
of
out
fizz.
of the
Thankfully,
hole.
neither
Loads
of
of
them were
free booze.
driving. Loads of booze. And then I was like, I'm so sorry. Love you. Bye. I was mortified, like to the point where my brother-in-law howls about this story to this day. It's like nearly a decade ago. And I'm like, by the way, all of my family and friends know that story, so everybody knows it.
Now it's going
Oh,
on.
that's ace.
We're going to like tag you on Instagram and share it. That's all right, isn't it?
Was she a lot older than her, though?
She was older than her, probably 10 years, I would say.
Right.
So it wasn't like she was the same age as her.
Right.
You know, she was a bit older than her, but she was nowhere near looking old enough to be mum age. It's just I'd made the comment before my
Because
mind was born.
you do it all the time, so you would automatically think, oh, you brought your mum.
You brought your mum, because everybody
Yeah.
brings the mum.
Yeah.
We've
Oh,
all been
don't.
there.
Yeah.
But you saved it. You plied him with booze was the answer.
They were wasted by the time they left, I'm sure. Or I'm
That's
just
almost
hoping
as bad
that they
as my
were.
pregnant story, isn't it?
Well, we've...
Oh, no, you don't ask women if they're pregnant. No.
Howard does.
Yeah, you can't cope with
You've,
that.
I didn't
but this is the thing. I
It's
think
another
we've
story,
all.
but
That's a particularly embarrassing one. But we've all done it. Like I've thought you must be mum and they've been sister and like it's stuff like that.
Yeah, but did you
We've
say
all
it to
been
the
there.
lesbian lover?
No.
No, you did not.
Great.
Mega
Another
Frankie
question
Noone.
that we ask everybody
Okay.
is: if you could swap services within the wedding industry and do something different, what would you do if it wasn't makeup?
in the wedding
Still in the
industry.
wedding industry, what would you do on the day?
Content creator.
Right, strap in
so
for another
turn it
half
off,
hour.
Adam's livid.
Let's talk about that.
No, we've
Come on.
had content creators on the pod, and it's
Yeah.
it's
We worked together the other
We
week,
did.
and we spoke. You said you've been seeing a lot of content
I have.
creators recently. Yeah,
It's
I've still not
I
worked
still
with
don't.
one.
I don't think it.
Oh no,
it,
I tell a lie. I've worked with one now.
It doesn't. You can't compare it with your job,
It's
and I
not
think
going
people
anywhere.
do. But I think the rise is still
Yeah, it's
content
good.
creators are going up
Yeah,
and up and up.
yeah.
But I think I'd actually would like that job. However, I wouldn't ever swap my job. So
I know we're supposed to end, but when you got married, if it had been a thing then, would you have had one?
probably not.
As
No,
well
I
as
would
me,
still have had
obviously.
you. Oh, as well as you.
Yeah. Because it
And
doesn't
I-
have to
I
be
can't
one or
talk
the
about
other.
that
It doesn't
wedding.
have to
I
be
want
one
to
or the
ask
other.
why.
You can have both.
Is it because of the speed you get your footage, or is it just because it's a trend and people
No,
want to
I
jump on a
think it's
trend?
like a different type of film, isn't it? It's
I
more like a
would
short
say it's not a
story.
replacement. It's just
An
it's
additional.
an addition. Yeah, it's a different thing.
But the
But I
filmmaker
actually-
can actually make the same content as what this person can,
Yeah,
but you're going to wait longer for it. Do you think it's the speed that really makes the difference with the content creator,
I think for some people,
or
yeah.
price, or both?
I think price is the top one for sure.
I think it's the top one. I
Frankie
think.
doesn't like
So-
talking about her wedding because you're probably the only person in the world that hated your wedding.
Hated
So
my
this is
wedding.
what I've been saying at the odd time for couples, because I recommend Adam and other filmmakers. So look, if you've got the budget, a proper filmmaker is a real priority for me if I was going to get married
definitely,
again.
yeah.
And
I will
some
watch a
have
video
said
again,
we've
Adam.
not have a price that's too expensive, and I've said look,
Doesn't
even
feel
get
at night,
a
honest.
content creator, because anything's better than nothing.
Yes.
And you'll still get something really good, and it's going to
Yeah.
be.
When people say
they're
they're not having a videographer, I'm like, I get it. Like, you know, it's an expense. It's another expense on top of thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
We'll go and chat with Adam.
Look, here's Adam Wing. No, but I feel like, you know, once you've seen people's wedding videos, you can't capture that content like someone external can. You know, everyone's always like, oh, loads of people take videos anyway on the day, and I'm like, it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
Just because we kind of touched on it there, like I did your wedding, and you didn't.
I didn't like the video. We know this. I feel like he's sensitive about it.
Good.
The wedding was
you don't watch because
appalling.
the other week you were like,
your wedding was appalling.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
This is a first.
This is really unique, and it's probably a unique scenario because it was based around.
It was
a
COVID.
COVID thing. That's the reasons why.
Shall I just very swiftly put it into
but
it?
I will
think
say
I saw this
it was
on his
a really
socials,
good wedding, and I had a great time. I think
You know,
Frankie's the
people
only
sat there
person
and-
who
I am
didn't
the only
enjoy
person.
it.
You know how people set them bloody masks?
Oh no, my lot of wild. Like we had a
was
great
great.
night.
It was a really good
Right.
night.
But
I
yeah,
turned up
imagine you
I
getting
turned
married
up
in
to
2
bridal
days.
prep, and which was hilarious because
Yeah.
you were doing everyone's makeup, and
exactly.
then
But why was I doing everyone's makeup? Because Steffi got COVID. She was meant to be going to a wedding, so I sent my makeup artist, who was doing my bridesmaids, to the wedding we had booked.
She got a cold, right.
So she ended up having to do her own makeup on it. But
I was obviously going to do my own anyway, but all my bloody
I had a great
bridesmaids are
time.
there pestering me like, I need this, I need that. I'm like, oh.
and
It was a lot of stress for a lot of couples.
No, the worst is that we didn't know if it could go ahead. You remember that Christmas when everyone got COVID and by New Year everyone had COVID? My wedding was on New Year's
20
Eve.
going into 2021, yeah.
That was, our wedding was on New Year's Eve, so
it was New Year's Eve, and you had about 40 guests.
40 guests couldn't come to our wedding 2 days before.
Which would have been
40
really
guests.
stressful.
Oh, it was. I'm not a stressed, like, I'm not a crier. I'm not like a, you know, whatever, it's your wedding. It's not like a ginormous deal. But the fact I was like, please don't make me go. I was like, I can't cope with this.
I turned up at the morning at the bride prep,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, how's it going? And she was like, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, but our
So
venue...
I wouldn't have been able to do that wedding
Our-
because I wasn't allowed back in till I think it was the June
Yeah.
or July of the
No,
21.
everything was open back then. It was
Yeah,
like
but our
Yeah,
wedding
but they
venue...
couldn't have an entertainer walking around
No,
singing.
everything was back.
It was
And
22.
Adam Murphy DJ,
was it
yeah.
22? It was 2022, wasn't it? Was it 21? End of 21?
End of 21. New Year's Eve 21.
Yeah, but everything was open by then.
New Year's Eve 21 going into 22. Oh, everything was open by then.
It just
okay.
but it opened just before.
Oh,
Anyway,
right.
the venue, because I'd asked them 2 days before, like I'd told them what had happened, and I was like, "This is the biggest shit show you've ever seen. Like, I just can't
half
even
your guests
cope.
have
Half my
dropped
guests can't come."
Yeah.
And they were like, "You can't postpone it or transfer it any further." I was like, "What if the bride or groom got COVID?" And they were like, "Tough luck," type thing. And then the wedding venue called me on the wedding morning saying, "Do you want to move your wedding?" And I was like,
On
"I'm
the
ready."
wedding morning?
On the wedding, it was
Oh
10
my
a.m. on the
God.
wedding morning. They got a call off them being like, "Do you want to move your wedding?" I was like, "I would have done
I'm having
yesterday,
the makeup
but
done."
now I'm literally,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Like, and I don't want to go."
It was great. It was really good.
Yeah, my friends and family now are like, you need to, like, you know, pull yourself together. It was a great
Yeah,
night.
But I get that for you, it just brings back
Because I had to do the planning of it as well, and I was like, I'd just given birth 12 weeks before, so I was like,
So much stress.
so
all
much
at
chaos.
once. You
not
come
for
through
me.
it, and what a strong
That-
person you are
and
because of it.
No, listen, it's all part of the story. We're
Yeah,
fine.
of course, all part
I'm
of the
going to
story.
weep on the way home now. I'm joking.
I had a great time.
Oh my! I was dead lucky me because virtually all my couples postponed, but
Yeah.
loads of time.
Yeah,
I think I did my last postponement. I think last year.
yeah.
So I
feel like
yeah,
quite a
they
long way.
really did it long. And I think that was because I was already booked on the year when they wanted it. Oh, we'll just do it in 2024
Yeah.
then. So I was quite lucky there, to be honest.
Yeah, that's good.
Just to cut you off.
It's all right.
Sorry,
I'm used to it.
I've just remembered.
Go
We
on.
always ask for because this is like the new season. We didn't do one with Julie and Richard, but we
Oh, you
always
did.
ask our guest to leave a question for the next guest. So
Business related.
unfortunately, we don't have one for you because we forgot to do it from the last people. But if you could leave a question for...
I will leave a question, and the question: if you had to, God, this just popped out of nowhere. If they had to make a reel, as in an Instagram reel, about their services, it could only be 30 seconds long. What are they putting in that reel?
That's
Good one,
good.
that one.
That's good. You can answer that yourself.
Oh,
Just because we've not got one to ask you. And then we'll ask the next
can it be a
person as
minute
well.
long? I talk too much.
No, that was the rules of your
Yeah, it was
question.
the rule.
You-
30 seconds.
You made the rules.
I would put in Frankie plus team of makeup artists, small team of makeup artists. I'd probably have a bit in there about me doing someone's makeup using brushes, of course.
Behind the scenes.
As in, like, yeah, behind the
Yeah.
scenes. I'd probably have then a 5-second section of to inquire, go to our website, do
Yeah.
whatever. Then I'd have a bit if you want to head over to any of the other Instagrams and have a look at us.
Yeah. Family, husband, personal? Would you add your personal
No, because
element
they're on
into
my
it as
other
well?
one anyway. They go and have a stalk on there. I tell them to.
Okay, so it's about
Yeah.
what you do, your service you offer.
Service,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, that's what I'd put in it.
There she is. At Frankie Noone, at Bridal Friday.
With an E on the end, that's it.
All that, yeah.
Frankie Noone, Bridal by Frankie Brush. There
we'll
you go.
tag you.
We'll
Tag us
it.
in,
We'll
you know
tag
the
it.
one.
Thank you
You've
so
been brilliant.
much.
You've been such a
Thank
good
you
guest.
so
Thank
much
you.
for having me. It's
I know you've
We
been
could
good.
just talk for 2 hours.
Talk forever.
I can. They're all day.
You're not shy to share your opinions. It's brilliant.
It's
It's been
mega.
great.
Straight to the point, you know the one.
Mega. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for having
you.
me, guys.
Catch the podcast on all the usual places. Hope you enjoy it. It's a wrap.
So thanks so much for listening. We really hope that you found this episode insightful, inspirational, and if you did enjoy that, then please consider subscribing to us wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. We're a Think Wedding Business.
We're also on YouTube and Instagram. So if you want to watch us, you can go over to YouTube and find us at Think Wedding Business. And the same over on Instagram to keep up with all of our future episodes.
We'd really love you to subscribe and join us on this journey. And if you do like this content, please consider giving us a 5-star review. It just helps us get seen and helps spread the word.
So thanks again for listening,
Wings
and we'll see you
out.
next time.
Bye-bye.